So, we're going to be talking about market research today, Unit 4.4. These are our learning objectives, and I'm heading right into it. So, let's start by introducing the lesson. Okay, let's assume when you guys, for example, want to buy a new laptop or a new phone, or I don't know, when new girls want to buy a new laptop and something like that, what do you usually do before buying that item? You go and you ask around about it, right? So it's either you go online and check about, let's say, the laptop specification, the laptop's quality, everything related to it, how much memory it has, how much does it cost, specifications, and everything related to that item, right? So basically, you go, you check, you ask, for example, you compare between two products or between these two laptops of different brands, and you basically try to analyze and understand which one's going to be better for you, right? Sorry. So basically, businesses do the same thing, okay? Businesses conduct something that's called market research just before they, for example, want to start a new project, or just before they want to, just before them doing or creating a new product, or working on a new project. So basically, market research is the process of collecting, recording, and analyzing data about customers, competitors, and the market. Okay, so this is what market research means. It means we are going to research about a certain uh, market, or about a certain competitor, or about a certain customer or certain customers, to help us understand what we can improve about our product, or if we can actually conduct that project. Okay. um, Basically, as you can see here, it's not just concerned with finding out as accurately as possible their customers will buy a particular product or not, but also with trying to analyze their reaction to different price levels or alternative forms of promotion. Basically, will the customer, let's say, for example, let's take iPhone. I'm sure Apple did a market research about increasing the price of iPhone, and they apparently found out that even if they increase their price, there wouldn't be any issue. I mean, customers would still buy. So, based on that market research that they have done, they're able to increase the price of their products. Okay. Now, so why do organizations carry out market research? To reduce the risk associated with new product launches. Do you know how risky it is to launch a new product? It's extremely risky, which is why they need to make sure that they, the risk would be less. Remember, I don't know if you've seen on TV or movies sometimes where they make children play with the toys before releasing them to the public. This is a method of market research. They're checking out if kids will actually like that game before, releasing it, or see if they can improve on it before releasing it. So, same thing to predict future demand changes, okay? To explain patterns in sales of existing products and market trends, to assess the most favored design, flavor, styles, promotions, and packages for our product. So basically, um, they're just gonna, uh, let's say, they're just gonna, for example, choose the best game that the children were playing with, and they're gonna leave out the rest of the games they didn't like. So, we have the MPD process, and then we have the market research process. Okay, so it starts with identifying customer needs and tastes. Okay, and then we have the product idea and packaging design. So if we look at it here, we identify customer needs and taste, and then we conduct a primary and secondary research. We the product idea and packaging design, and then we test it of product and packaging with consumer groups. Brand position advertising testing, pre-testing of product image and advertising, product launch and after launch period, monitoring of sales and customer responses. I'm not going into this too detailed. It's very obvious. It's explaining itself by itself. So let's move on to another topic, to the next slide. So market research can be used to discover market size, consumer taste and trend, products, strengths, weaknesses of the product, effectiveness of the promotion, unique selling points of the competitors, distribution methods that are most preferred, and so on. So you need to realize that market research is something extremely beneficial for the organization. And you'd notice that most businesses or most successful products has conducted, or the company has already conducted market research. That's why they were that successful. Okay. Now, how do we make a market research? And I need you to pay very close attention here, because this is what you're going to do in your IA. Remember when we talked about primary research and secondary research in IA? This is exactly what I need you to understand to help you conduct your internal assessment. Now, we have different sources of market research data. The first one is a primary research, and as I explained to you before, primary research is a first hand collection, which means you are conducting the research. For example, you're going to conduct a survey, you're going to conduct a questionnaire, you're going to go and make an interview with the people yourself. So, basically it's your primary research here. Okay, no one has conducted the research before and you have done it. Okay, now in secondary research it's a second hand source. So basically let's say journals, let's say newspapers, or scholars articles that have been written before by other people and you're using them. So it's second hand, you are using them as a second hand. Okay, now we have qualitative research. Qualitative research means it's basically it looks in depth of, let's say, the information, because we have qualitative and quantitative. Quantitative is more related to numbers. It's more related to numerical results, as in, for example, you found out that 500 people are using iPhone. 500 million around the world are using iPhone. So 400 million are using Samsung, and so on. So we have numbers here. But a qualitative research would be, we find out that this happened and this happened, so it resulted to this. Okay? Now, methods of primary research, and I was just explaining to you in a bit. So, primary research, as I just explained, it's a first hand data. So, a survey, for example, a survey where you ask questions, you ask about the opinions, you ask about, you just ask questions about that topic that you want to understand. It's usually a written questions, and you just usually now, for example, a survey, you can do a survey on Google Forms, you know, like sometimes I ask you some questions about feedback. That's an example of a survey. Okay, interview, I'm sure we're all familiar with an interview. You go to a person, you ask him a question face to face or on a video call, and you write his answers or her answers. Focus groups. It's a group of people who are asked about their attitude towards a product, service, or new sale. So they just collect a group of people. Sometimes they're random, sometimes they're from one certain population. They just ask them questions. Sorry. And then we have observations, okay? Which is a qualitative method of collecting and analyzing information obtained through directly or indirectly watching and observing others in business environments. So basically, we're just watching people, just watching what people are doing, observing them, whether it's a customer, whether it's an employee, and understanding, getting a conclusion. Then we have test marketing, which is marketing a new product in a geographical region before a full scale launch. You see, some restaurants have soft openings, or some products are launched in the market with a very small variety to see if they're going to be liked or not. So this is a type of test marketing. Now let's take a look at the questionnaire design, or we can call it a survey design, okay? We have four important things when we conduct a survey or a questionnaire, okay? First of all, who are we going to ask? Are we going to ask everyone around the world or everyone in Bahrain, for example? Or are we going to ask only teenagers? Or are we going to ask students at Kano School? Or are we going to ask old people? Or are we going to ask people below 20? Okay. What do you want to ask? For example, for your IA, do we want to ask them about, I don't know, a certain product? Do you want to ask them about a certain service and so on? How do we ask them? The way of asking is extremely important. You can't be biased. For example, there is a difference when you say, um, there is a difference, even I can't think of an example right now, but when you're stating your questions in a questionnaire and you're trying to make people, it's like you're trying to make people answer with the answer that you want them to answer. So you phrase all your questions in this way. For example, you phrase your question like this. um, for example, you want to ask about a certain product and you say, this product is very bad. Strongly agree, strongly disagree. This product is very cheap. This product is low quality. This product is this. This product is this. And then you keep asking questions constantly about the negative side of the product. And then you don't ask questions about the good side of the product. So basically, you're being biased. You're trying to get answers the way you want, not the way people actually want to answer. Now, how accurate is it? You need to make sure that the people you give them the survey would actually read the questions. You've noticed, I mean, some of us, we just receive surveys or questionnaires and we just put tick, tick, tick without even looking at the question because we're too bored. So you can't give anyone those questionnaires, okay? If you want to have true results, let's say. Now, you have the advantages and disadvantages of primary research. Please read them. I think they're very, very expressive. Let's move to sources of secondary data, okay? Secondary data are like journals, publications, libraries, trade organizations, media reports, internal company records, the internet. All these things are secondary data. And for you, as standard level students, you will be using secondary data only. So you'll be using these, okay? You're going to be choosing from these. You're not going to be conducting any primary research. Now you have the advantages and disadvantages of secondary research here. Now, let's move to ethical considerations of market research. As I just mentioned a few moments ago, you have to be unbiased. So, first of all, researchers should have the permission of the people who they will be studying. You can't just go and tell people to fill surveys without informing them what you're going to be doing with those answers, or are you going to publish the results or not. Data collection methods should not cause physical or emotional harm to the respondents. You can't send things that will harm people emotionally or physically. Objectivity for objectivity versus subjectivity. And research is another important consideration. This is exactly what I just explained to you. You can't be objective or you can't be subjective. Okay? Have to be very balanced. So many types of research, such as surveys or observations, should be conducted on the assumption that findings are kept anonymous. Okay? So if you're going to release that answer and say that that person answered this in this way, you have to inform them. You have in the survey itself, you have to write a note that these results will be released. If you write your name, it will be released. You can't just release their names without their permission. Um, Researchers should not take advantage of easy to access groups of people simply because they are easy to access. For example, me as a teacher right now, I can't give you a survey related to my studies at university and tell you to fill it. Why? Because I'm your teacher. And why? Because, for example, some of you feels the obligation of doing it because it's the teacher who gave it to us. You might be afraid of losing marks and so on. I can't do that. It's extremely unfair. Okay, I mustn't take advantage of you as students to write for me answers. Okay, when presenting and analyzing results, they should accurately represent what was observed or researchers were told. Okay, now sample size and sampling method. First of all, a sample is a group of people taking part in the market. What do I mean by sample? Sample are basically the people who are going to answer your questions about the survey. A sample can be, for example, a group of teenagers, a group of people above 30, a group of children, a group of, it's just a sample. People, group of people. Sampling error is basically errors in research caused by using a sample for data collection rather than the whole target population. Sometimes we make sampling errors, okay? Error is just like a mistake in a sample. Now we have several ways of selecting samples. First of all, quota sampling. Quota sampling is gathering data from a group chosen out a specific subgroup, like what? So researchers might ask 100 individuals between the ages of 20 and 30. This is quota sampling, okay? Random sampling, just every member of the target population can be chosen, okay? Any member. I'm just walking in the street to say, I want to sample Bahrain. I'm just walking in the street, I just give, or I want to sample Arcus School. I have Arcus School as a sample. I'm just going to go choose any student. And that's random sampling. Stratified sampling is it's like it draws a sample from a specified subgroup or segment of the population and uses random sampling to select an appropriate number from each stratum. So what we're saying here, we're using random sampling, but at the same time from a specific group. So let's say only grade 12. I'm not going to use Arcus, the whole Arcus. That's just random sampling. I'm going to use grade 12 from 12B, for example, or 12A students. Okay, from 12A student, I'm going to choose 5 students, random students. This is stratified sampling. We have cluster sampling, where we use one or a number of specific groups to draw samples from and not selecting from the whole population. So let's say I'm going to choose 12A and 12C, and then I'm going to choose random people from them. Okay? Snowball sampling is using existing members of a sample study group to recruit further participants through their acquaintances. So we already have sample members, we already chose, let's say, students from 12A, okay? And then the same people from 12A recommended other students from 12A as well. So we're using those people to recommend other people. Convenience sampling is drawing representative selection of people because of the ease of their volunteering, or selecting people because of their availability or easy access. So I'm just choosing some students specifically. Why is that? Because it's easy to access. For example, other people are not easy to access. Okay? We have an exam tip. Please make sure you read it. And then we have methods of data presentation. I'm not going to go through this, but I'm just going to explain to you tables. I'm sure all from this is a table. Line graph, I can show it to you here even. I think we have charts. Line graph, this is a line graph, okay? Bar chart, this is a bar chart. Pie chart, this is a pie chart. Histogram, I don't think we have here. Anyway, I can show it to you later on. But you see here, actually, if this can be found in, these charts can be found in PPT, PowerPoints, and can be found in Excel sheet as well. Okay? And these are the uses for it. Example here, table, when a wide range of results need to be recorded. Line graph, when time is one of the variables. Bar chart, when, for example, we have different sections. Pie chart, like showing the relative importance of sections of segment out of total result. I'm gonna make a small video explaining to you these things, what to use them for, how to use them, how to conduct. Also, I'm gonna make a little bit of Excel sheet just to help you out, okay? Now, we have something that's called Mean, mode, median. These are usually used in advanced primary research, okay? So, or in research, sorry, not primary and secondary. After you've conducted all the research, see here, mean, we use it when the range of results is small. The mean can be a useful indicator of likely sales levels per period of time. This could be used to help determine reorder levels. Now, I just want you to read these mean, mode, and median because I just want you to get a small look, a small understanding on them because you're not gonna, we're not gonna get, you're not gonna go deep into them or you're not gonna make a research so deep into them, but you're definitely gonna use them in a university and you're definitely going to make a research based on these things, especially if you're studying finance or engineering or something like that. So I really like you to read them and ask me questions in our next live session. Okay, so that's it for 4.4 market research. A very simple, very easy lesson. Um, Basically, and your assignment is going to be extremely easy. I'm going to make you make a survey. Okay, so that should be very easy for you guys. I'm gonna make another video explaining how to make a survey on Google Forms. And well, that's about it. Thank you very much, and I will see you next class, next lesson. Bye.